Goldeneye bonus video. So if you've just come off the previous no damage run, you'll know that we did the entirety of Goldeneye on 00 Agent, but I didn't do the bonus levels, which you might find as a little bit of a tease. So we're coming back here and we're doing them. This one is of course Aztec, and then after this there is Egyptian. So this level is very, very special because it's incredibly cranked compared to almost any other level in the game. And this first room that we're doing is probably the worst room in it. This large corridor here and then the opening sequence. The enemies have got such alertness, such accuracy, and the draw distance in the game really fights you. And once you get into this zone, it gets a little easier, but you want to be as defensive as possible. You'll have noticed in the previous videos, I was being aggressive, I was strafing, I was using movement, I was using stun. You can use all of those features, it's just here, because the Moonraker guards are so boosted, they shoot you immediately, they don't miss, they're very aggressive, they're very accurate. It turns it into a situation where all the usual shenanigans you can get away with just doesn't work here. And I don't recommend that you do any of it. I'm going to be using the PPK or the PP7 for most of this until we get to the more serious sequence, and then we'll be swapping to the AR, and then we'll be swapping to the Moonraker laser. But if you shoot the console there, it will distract the two guards on the doorway, and then you can shoot them. Be very careful with that one. Shooting two enemies at once is very taxing, and be careful on the peek here. Peek on that one on the left and then wait. There's a bunch of Moonraker guards that can turn up here. Sometimes they won't do this, so you can then peek and shoot the other one and you have to keep moving around, but on this particular time they were very aggressive. There are a few moments in this stage where sometimes the AI is a little bit different than what it was on the previous run. This is easily one of the most difficult levels in the game. And it didn't take me too long, it just felt like an eternity because it's really frustrating. And this is the second deviation here. So if you look through the grill, you can see that one guy. If you get lucky or unlucky here, extra soldiers will hear what you just did and they'll make their way into this room and shoot at you. Sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. I don't honestly know how. Every gun in this game has a loudness meter, and sometimes you alert people and other times you don't. But the big problem here is all the automatic weapons. The gun turrets in this game are the hardest part about it. They are absolutely brutal. And I'm trying to peek here by aiming and then holding left to lean out of this so I can get an angle on this one turret that causes me a lot of pain. You can do this, but I'm fighting with collision and I'm fighting with some of the more modern features here. My original routing of Aztec involved me shooting everything from the vent. You can shoot the guards, you can shoot the cameras, you can do it all. But on this particular run, I couldn't get it to work, so you're seeing a backup strategy here where you move out a little bit and then you peek. One of the unique factors about this AR is that it can wallbang. You can actually shoot through these crates. So if you're a fan of crouching, or if you just want to hit them to get the flinch, shoot through the metal boxes and you'll have complete success with what you need to achieve here. And there's a handful of dudes on this back row. Make sure you get rid of all the gun cameras. You can't quite see this one because there's a low roof. If you move into the back here, the camera can't see you, and then you can shoot it for free. And if you've just come off of Control, you'll understand why these are an absolute nightmare of an enemy. Both Control and Jungle are filled with these turrets, and I'm really glad the game isn't heavier on them because I just think they're bad design and they're not very fun. But once you've cleared out Bay 4, we're going to be going down and killing Jaws. And there's a few things you can do with Jaws. You can just kill him on the stairs and keep him running so he can never shoot at you. Or you can bait him all the way back to where you need to be, because the moment Jaws dies, it will start a steady infinite spawn of guards that come in 3 to 4 in number, and they will all have double lasers. And these guys can be very problematic, but quickly come up here and open the shuttle bay so you can backtrack later on. And then there's one guy here. If this guy's not here, it means he rushed you earlier on and heard you when you were shooting. There's one guy on this corner, and then there's one guy to the right of Jaws. I'm going to shoot him and I'm going to move immediately. Be very careful with the alertness of this boss character. He will murk you almost as quick as Trevelyan does sometimes on Cradle. And Aztec has a lot in common with Cradle because they're the two levels in the game where the enemy stats are cranked into oblivion. And I do really believe that if the rest of 00 Agent was like this level, it would not be very fun to do this project because it's just really noticeable. And Jaws actually gets stuck here on the stairs. I'm going to have to go and peek this corner. And the thing in Goldeneye is as long as that you're not directly in front of these enemies lined up, they tend to not want to shoot you immediately. So you always want to hit them from odd angles. And once you get him to the stairs here, just keep alternating and shooting him. And occasionally you will flinch him, and once you flinch him, you can stun lock him. When he dies, he will drop the double ARs, and he will drop the keycard we need to get into that server room area. So kill him, and then right now, in the back of your mind, you need to realise that there are Moonraker guards that are going to be spawning, and the first spawn that seems to always happen from my experience is when we open the door to go backwards. So once you come into this room, you remember there was the console that opened the wall. There's tends to be 3 dudes in this next room, but you can never tell where they're going to be, because you don't know how active the spawn is. There's the first one, there's the next 2. Once you've done this, open up the glass, and then immediately close the glass. When you close the glass, they can't shoot you, but you can shoot them. And then you want to go into your watch, you want to go down to guidance data, and press fire instead of examine. If you're pressing examine, it'll just tell you that it's like a server, and you'll get screwed. So make sure when you equip an item, you press the trigger instead of the examine. And then wallbang those guys, and then hit this console, but only press it once. If you mash here, you'll close it again. And then now, we should, because the pace that we're on, we should get back to that main area, and there might be just one guy who spawned. But you need to be very careful here. Speed is everything, so be careful coming out of this vent. Notice how there's no one here. I can now go into my watch, I can go down again, select launch protocol data, and then press trigger instead of examine, and as soon as you do this, put your double lasers back on, because there's going to be more guys coming your way. Wait for the sequence and then move. Right here, I get very lucky, nobody's caught up to me, and I get to climb this. In this incredibly slow climbing animation, I think I might have hit it at the wrong angle. And what's going to happen is you hit the console and it starts to close the doors, or open the doors, sorry, but the timer's going to stop at 10 seconds if they're not open, so you have to wait here. And I don't actually know whether or not you can get attacked on this sequence, because I've never seen it happen, but I sit here crouched waiting, just in case. And back in the day when I was a kid, I never got these levels, I never played them. This was my first time actually completing these stages and learning them, and boy are they considerably more difficult than the main cast, outside of, 1 or 2 stages. But there's the cutscene. All we need to see now is the mission objectives complete, and the 00 agent Crest on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and we can move into the final of the optional levels, which is Egyptian, and we're going to be taking on the mighty Baron Samedi, the voodoo god himself. So this level is very strange. It's quite a short level, and it's essentially go grab the golden gun, Scaramanca special, and then deal with this undying man. And the route I've got here is pretty decent, all considered. So we kill these first 2 guys, and then we go on the right. Again, I'd never done these levels until today, and I had Goldeneye back on N64. But when you come in here, there's this little puzzle in the tiles. I had to Google a pattern to figure out how to get through this room, because I just couldn't figure it out. I just thought I was doing something wrong. And then it turns out there is a very Indiana Jones specific path, and then once you do it, you get the gun. So open the wall here, which all Goldeneye multiplayer players know about. Shoot the guy directly in front, the golden gun kills in 1 hit, kill him, and then kill him on the left. Be very careful here, sometimes these guys aggro. But luckily, their AI is not as cranked as it was in Aztec, so this is normal AI now, this is fun AI, so if you make a mistake and if you get hit, it's pretty much your fault and you could have dealt with it. You're probably wondering why I'm shooting into the distance. Well, the draw distance is hiding Baron. He's down there, but I didn't hit him this time, so I have to shoot him there. And depending on where you hit him, depends on how quickly he goes down. Sometimes if you hit him in the head and like the chest, you'll get him in 1. Other times it might take 1 or 2, depending on if it's limb. Headshots are what you want to aim for, but of course it can be quite tricky because it's hard to aim in Goldeneye. There's 1 soldier here. Right here there are 2 soldiers that hit me from behind in my practice run, so I'm going to kill him and I'm going to immediately turn around, because I didn't know where they were coming from, but I knew they were there, and the first one is here. He hears something, he comes along, I shoot him, and I'm cognizant now that there's 1 more guy, but moving in here, there's 2 guys on the right, 1 here, and then 1 on the opposite side, adjacent to him. That's him there, and then this next room is like 4 guys, I think. Get the Walther on, get some alert noises, shoot him. Be careful of using the Uzi. You might be wondering, Chris, why aren't you using the double Uzis? It's because they're loud, and they make everybody run to you, and I didn't want to get more guards than I needed on this stage, because I didn't know how long it was. And it turns out it wouldn't be too difficult to kill all the soldiers, and then Baron's here again. And just then, move around the pillar and shoot him. This is the other guy that shot me in the back, so make sure when you fight Baron, you come back this way, that you get prepared for him, because he might be there or you might already have fought him. But I get quite lucky with a lot of my shots, and in this corridor, guys, you need to run diagonally, because these turrets will shoot you. They shot me. So hold up and to the right to move quickly, and he's just on the right here, and just then, I killed him. But that's not always going to happen. If your shot is good, you're laughing. But if it isn't, be very careful. He's just as cranked as those Aztec soldiers, so use the cover. Never really challenge him when he's shooting unless you're behind him or to the side where he cannot hit you. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of my Goldeneye 00 Agent No Damage. What a timeless game, what an absolute classic. And it feels really good to come back to this as an adult, because this game really was my childhood, and there's a lot of great memories there. And if this doesn't remind you of why you play video games, I don't really know what will. You take care now.